What's up everybody, this is Todd. Today I'm recording a tutorial on a build that a lot of people have asked me to do a tutorial on. It's ThorzaiN's Pala Rifle versus Undead. This is a game that he played against one on Echo Isle, and we're gonna break down the entire build order from the start and then some of the important decisions after that. Thorzain was kind enough to provide me with like a very thorough explanation as well of what's important, like getting the bloodmage out as second hero very quickly to be able to do well in the mid game. So we're gonna take some notes as well. I really want to write down the initial build order so that I can also try that build just like you guys will. So you can take your own notes as well. You don't have to use mine, but I will be taking some as well, which will be shown on screen. So when the game starts, you send 4 peasants to gold and 1 on woods. So we're gonna write that. 4 peasants to gold, 1 to woods. And then we're gonna pay attention to every single little detail. We wanna do the build order exactly how he does it. First peasant to come out goes to woods. Then obviously you're gonna keep throughout the entire build order queuing a lot of peasants. You see he's already making 4 additional ones. Okay, so when 7th peasant is about to come out, start altar. I'm gonna reduce the size of this a little bit so it's not taking the entire screen. Yeah.
Ready to work.
And then when this 7th peasant comes out, so you're on 8 out of 12 then, exactly. With 7th peasant, start a farm. Yeah, build it through like 100 hit points. 400 HPs, then make blacksmith.
Ready to work.
So 8th peasant starts a barracks.
Ready to work.
9th peasant continues the farm. And then I already pretty much know, just by looking up there at the woods, we know that he's missing 10 wood to get an additional farm. So as soon as this peasant here finishes mining that 10 woods, you're gonna send him back to gold to have 5 on gold exactly. Like, this made a lot of sense immediately as soon as I saw it. You see everything's lining up perfectly. Yeah. As soon as you have 20 woods, send the wood peasant to gold to have... The notes are a little long. To have 5 there. It's taking a lot of space. So will this start the farm immediately? Yes, I think so. Oh, you see that's cool as well. He made room here so that it doesn't block, like they don't derp around for a moment.
Ready to work.
Tenth peasant comes out, makes second farm. I don't think the building positioning is like... You don't have to go out of your way as well to like copy this base, and also as you can see you don't need to like close your base either with this. You're not really under threat from anything. Because you're gonna be close to your base anyway when you creep in the start, so... I don't think you need to wall off with this. Specifically, especially because you're gonna get an arcane tower later anyway. So then you're still queuing more peasants. So that's the starting build order that I wrote down here. I'm glad that I wrote it down because I'm gonna need that after when I'm gonna try to do the build myself.
Done. Ready to work. Job's done.
So then you queues a whole lot of peasants. As soon as altar finishes, you queue Pala. I mean, that's the build. We're not gonna write this one down. We're gonna wait to take more general notes, maybe.
Job's done.
And I think now I can turn off this note thing in-game so that it doesn't block your guys' vision. And you can just keep on writing down. I will put those notes, mine, in the description of the video as well on YouTube.
Job's done.
So, start. Oh yeah, keep on making peasants. Peasants to go to woods. And start pala plus first rifle. You should be at 21 out of 24 at this point.
Ready to work.
And then basically you're going to be able to start the second rifle. You should be at 21 out of 24 and have 8 wood peasants. I'll write that as well. It's better to have too much info, but you also don't want to go too crazy. So you start second rifle. Start second rifle. Make third farm at... Actually, he's not quite... I guess... Kinda counts as... I'll put 24 out of 24, but I guess you can start maybe a bit before. So this is... We're playing on Echo Isle this time. And I think depending on the map, you're gonna start with a pretty small camp so that you don't have to use too many peasants, because you need to tech very quickly and you need 210 woods to tech. So he's only gonna use 2 peasants. So I would say no matter what map you do this on, don't use too many peasants and start with a very small camps. Like let's say you're on Amazonia, don't go and do the wizard necessarily first. So start creeping with 2 peasants to be able to tech fast. You see, I keep on taking the notes like this. And then I'm gonna have them open on my second monitor later when I try to build. So now he even goes for that top camp here. He makes sure that nothing gets ensnared. That's very nice, the way he came in with everything together. And then now ideally you hope that your 2 militia are gonna be the ones that get attacked. You see, even try to pull the aggro so that he's gonna use that first heal there. So second rifle gets ensnared, but it doesn't matter, he can still attack. You wait, and then when it has 60 hit points, you get a full hit points one there. And that's it for the first camp. And behind this, you see he started the tech at 24 out of 30, so I'm gonna write that down as well. Start tech 24 out of 30, and go scout with 1 militia across map. And then start another rifle. And create another camp with 2 militia. Another rifle will put you at 30 out of 30. Make 1 more farm and 1 scout tower. Basically that's for arcane, obviously. So he checks the expo. And then now that's something that Thorzain talked about a lot. It's this timing right there when he's level 2. Some undeads, they will try and pressure him to prevent him from getting level 3 a lot here, which is, it's a big power spike to get level 3. If that happens, he's not going to engage the camp, he explained to me. He's just going to dance around here with the Death Knight and the Fiends, or the Death Knight and the Ghouls, and he's not going to start that camp so that he doesn't have to fight both the creeps and the camp. Instead, he's going to wait until his bloodmage is going to be with his army, which is a big power spike because he can start taking away a lot of mana from the opponents. So he emphasized this a lot, that he didn't mind dancing around here with his opponent's units nearby, if that meant waiting for his blood mage. And then once he has the blood mage, he's ready to brawl again.
forces are under attack. Job's done.
So he sees that the Death Knight's across the map, still doing a bunch of creeping, so now he's gonna oblige and creep this camp at top. You see at this point he's not even using militia anymore. He's got 4 rifles, he's got enough mana to heal a bunch. Obviously you go for R with this. And yeah, you can get a very good item here as well at this camp. And he starts +1 after starting another rifle, so start +1 attack at 32 out of 36. And that's after he lost the peasant across the map, by the way. So sometimes here, if you haven't lost your peasant, you'll have 33 out of 36. And we know how important it is to get the blood mage when you reach tier 2, so he's obviously gonna have to make a farm here after. 1 sec.
Our forces are under attack.
Yeah, so farm. Then make 1 more farm. He's not taking the... I think maybe if you see the undead, like... Maybe if he hadn't seen anything, for example, he's gonna get the tower, but now he saw that the undead was across the map, so he knows there is no threat to his peasant line, so he's not morphing the tower. So he finished the camp, got a Scroll of the Beast, got level 3, against the Death Knight that's level 2. And immediately when your tier 2 finishes... So you need to be careful with the farms here. If you finish your tier 2 and you're supply blocked, this is a big problem for you, I think. So you're gonna start blood mage immediately. That's like #1 priority.
Upgrade research complete.
See, boom, immediately, and then you start rifle range. Tier 2 finishes, immediately starts blood mage plus rifle range. And when blood mage comes out, actually maybe I will wait a bit until that's there. Why Aura or Cram asks, well, it synergizes very well. You don't need Divine Shield with this. It's part of the strategy. It's what's going to make the rifles very strong. Is their upgrades, the Pala keeping them alive, and the fact that they're going to have a ton of armor. So then he gets another farm, and +1 armor. Wow, okay. I'm not going to write supply at this point. Start another farm and +1 armor for rifles, and make some more peasants. Yeah. I'm not gonna write for wood because it's obvious. You're not gonna make more peasants and then queue them to gold anyway. You're not gonna have 6 or 7 or gold. It's always 5. So he starts a camp. This is a very important concept of Echo Isle, by the way, is that if you can creep both of the middle camps and then you have your entire sides that you can creep, you're doing pretty well on this map. Because those are some very important camps that give a lot of experience and good items as well a lot of the time. So now ThorzaiN was completely uncontested. He did 12 o'clock, he did 6 o'clock, and now he's gonna start working on his side of the map. So as soon as Blood Mage is out, the first camp you're gonna creep is your Expo, is what he told me. And you're gonna try and level your Blood Mage straight to level 3. So you're gonna pull the Paladin back basically. And do a lot of creeping with the Blood Mage only. So I'm gonna write that as well. As soon as Blood Mage is out, creep Expo. With him only, and power him to level 3. Again, you guys can write those notes however you want. If you want to write them in a different language, you can also do that. If it's easier for you to think about than in English. So you see he creeps the Expo with 5 militia. I think that's a good number. He's still making wood peasants back at home. I think we can have a quick look. He has 3... 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 total right now. So he's making sure that he's gonna have enough food for everything in the future. And you see, like, if he hadn't done that, maybe now his wood income is gonna be like too low for him to be able to do what he wants. So immediately after that, he goes and creeps this bottom camp. That's very nice because it's near this. So if he gets attacked here, he will have to move back quickly enough and defend. And see, he pulls back the Pala again. Immediately gets level 2. Starts another rifle. Gets close. And at this point he's at 45 out of 48. So I think making the peasants is probably one of the most important parts here that a lot of people might skip if you're not careful. You need to make sure you get that. Starts an Arcane Tower at the Expo. We're gonna write that. Make Arcane Tower at Expo. Where's this rifle going?
Locked and loaded.
I don't want to fast forward too much. Yeah, he's still powering. You see nearby his base. It makes sense, right? He's already done the center. So you don't want to go too far from your base here. He's well on his way to level 3. Is that maybe to scout in advance? Still has 7 noun woods in the main base. Pretty close to level 3. You can actually do this camp now with both heroes. You don't have to pull back the pala anymore. And he's tanking with the bloodmage. I like that because it has more armor than rifles. So it's tankier. So you will take less damage overall, and then you just have to use a heal on him. Apparently, you don't wait for upkeep at all here. Yeah, you keep making rifles. So keep making rifles with the 7. With your 7 wood peasants in main. Make shop at expo. That's in case you get attacked at the expo.
Our town is under siege.
Gets the mana pen and see he gets attacked shortly after. Maybe the shop could have been a little lower, but it doesn't matter that much. The tower is nice to buy you time. And basically, so this is like super important. I'm even gonna open the notes that I have with Thorzain because I really want to do justice to what he explained. So give me a sec. Okay, so this is what he explained about sitting around if you know the opponent's there and trying to prevent you from creeping your pala. You just sit around and then you wait. But he gave a lot of other pointers. So I feel like I can only do justice to them if I read them. So yeah, well, I will go over all of them actually. Generally, my plan is to take quickly with 2 rifles, sometimes with a 3rd one on the way, sometimes not. If taking too late, the Undead gets map control when Lich comes out. Now, Lich comes out only 15 to 20 seconds before bloodmage. Then as soon as bloodmage is out, get an expo, unless we're contesting a big camp like Marketplace on Echo Isle, which will be mine for sure when bloodmage is out. Huge power spike. So I guess if the Undead will contest the Marketplace, maybe you wait for bloodmage, you creep that, and then you go for your expo after that. And it's still gonna be better for you because you're fighting with the bloodmage for most of this time. A lot of Undeads will get level 2 and then try to creepjack me, prevent my level 3, and then try to engage when their Lich is out, hoping my bloodmage is far away. At that point, we usually just dance back and forth until both of our tier 2 heroes are out. I don't mind, so that's what I was explaining earlier, that he doesn't mind just waiting if the opponent just wants to do like a Mexican standoff. Then, try to get level 3+3 before the Undead goes for the Dark Ranger push. Level 2 Siphon is really big, so that's the whole point of this. And at that point, you'd preferably have some upgrades like 1-1, I guess at least, he means. But I guess that's what you will have by this timing. I like to drain mana on the Dark Ranger primarily. That seems to be a very important part of this. So I think if he mentions it, that's probably what we're going to want to focus on when we do this build. Silence is a bitch, while I can out-heal the Coil Nova. And I get an info on the Bloodmage. A lot of Undead silence Paladin and nuke Bloodmage, which will be in front of my army. That's because he's trying to siphon from afar. While he could use Holy Light on that Bloodmage if he gets in trouble, but Silence might also try to interfere with that. So to negate that, he gets an invuln, which I like. Then I can invuln, keep sucking Dark Ranger mana, and she will only ever be able to cast 1 Silence, while I was able to prevent a hero kill with the invuln. Let me know if you have more questions. So now we can see how it plays out and if he was onto something. Spoiler alert, it was. So now you see he's immediately trying to siphon the Dark Ranger. That's actually very surprising. I feel like if I hadn't heard that, I personally would have thought that I would want to mana siphon the Death Knight maybe. Maybe the Lich. I wouldn't think that you have to go for the Dark Ranger, but I mean he's one of the best players, if not the best with this build, so I'm gonna trust Thorzain that this is what you have to do. Was the heal in the air or did he misclick? What the hell? So now you see Silence was used. What does he do as soon as Silence is used? He runs forwards to make sure he gets ahead of these heroes here. This is not for a surround. This is to take a lot of mana away. Banishes and then Siphons. So Banishes will enhance the effect of Siphon. Obviously, I didn't mention it, but I thought it was obvious. You don't go for Flame Strike here. You go for Banish. Sometimes if somebody... Let's say that one Coil Nova's the Pala. And then it's being targeted by all the units. If you banish that hero immediately after, it cannot be called Nova because then there is the cooldown of this hero's nuke. So sometimes you can save rifle, you can save your heroes from physical damage and stuff, so Banish can be pretty useful to save stuff. And look at this. Is he actually gonna take... Oh my god. 0 mana, what the f... This is absurd. He took all of the mana in one siphon. That was ridiculous. I love this build. So you completely ignore upkeep apparently. Wait, I'm on the wrong scene. Yeah. You completely ignore upkeep. I'm gonna take that down, yeah. Keep making rifles, ignoring upkeep, and get +2 attack. Holy shit. No, that was Banish level 1. I'm assuming it was Banish level. I mean, I can't see because W3 booster is down, but I'm assuming it was Banish level 1. It's surprising that he doesn't get boots at all, but I guess it's not that much use. So one doesn't really know what to do. It feels like he's like turning around, fighting. I feel like undeads that are not used of playing against this, they will wonder right now. They are like, should I be fighting? Should I be creeping? I mean, I feel like I should be fighting, but I'm not really winning the fights. So again, bloodmage at the front. Oh my god, he's taking all the mana away from that. One's doing a pretty good job as well, staying away. Like, look, the Death Knight always has a ton of mana, but he can't really use it. If he nukes a unit, that's gonna get saved and healed. So he gives the penance to the Pala, and he gets an invuln on the blood mage. This is what he talked about. Now he goes Siphon on the Lich, forces the Lich back. And that's 60 out of 60 he takes. So we're gonna write that down. 60 out of 60, start castle. This is the notes, just so you guys can have an idea of how many notes I took up to this point. I don't even know if there's the room for everything. Yeah. Actually, it doesn't show everything, does it? Oh yeah, so I will put them in the description. That's why I don't want to show them as well in game. It's like a bit obnoxious. How many worker on woods? He has 7 still. So after he expoed, he made sure he had at least 7. And he stayed on that forever. I thought there used to be a lumber mill quicker in this build, but apparently not. I guess maybe he'll make it eventually, but he was prioritizing other stuff for sure. A 7's pretty good. I get we're siphoning everything. That Lich is not going to be novaing a whole lot. I guess I should ask Thorzain, how would he play against Dreadlord? I'm gonna ask, so by the end of this we will already know. How would you play versus Dreadlord Expo? So now he goes towards the Expo of his opponent. He has a healing scroll, by the way. That's very nice, because he had a little bit of surplus gold. He bought a Troll Berserker. I guess he realized he was gonna have to fight soon, like while he was creeping the Merc camp, so... Or maybe earlier, I don't really know when he bought that. So now the Pala gets nuked. Maybe an invuln transfer would have been nice here, but I think one finally realized that he couldn't kill the blood mage. He was the one with the invuln, so he nukes it. And Thorzain, I'm guessing, double clicks the TP here. He needed to, he had no choice. Otherwise I would have died. And look again here, save something with Banish. So this can be tricky, especially because you don't have priests. So after castle, he started +2 armor. We're gonna write that down. Then get +2 armor and a lumber mill. So now he doesn't really have much to heal, especially because his shop got cancelled earlier and he never remade it. So he's gonna buy a Forest Troll Shadow Priest and use that to heal his hero. And here's the thing, because of the Blood Mage, you always have full mana supposedly on Pala here, so this is amazing. But it would have been tricky if Undead kept on pushing here, because that Pala was very low. And this time he gave the invuln. And actually, a little bit dangerous, he sent the Blood Mage by himself to buy another invuln. So yeah, Thorzain knows that there is an expo here. What do you know the opponent is gonna do when you go for this many rifles? You know they're gonna go for R-bombs. They don't really have a choice. Anything else they would do would not be that great, so... He's gonna go for air there eventually. He's still at 7, right? Yeah, 7. He gets wood upgrades. So So obviously you have to get a shop, so I think if that get cancelled, remake it. Like now he waited a very long time to remake it. Not the end of the world in this game, but that could cost you if you don't. Make lumber upgrades. I think it's pretty important to put in there.
Forces are under attack.
And when tier 3, yeah. And when castle finishes, get MK. So the MK will be to have an additional tank at the front. Stormbolt potential, and he's gonna be the one that carries the orb. Because Pala doesn't get Divine Shield, so he can't be at the front as much, because otherwise he could get nuked and be in trouble. Another Pendant of Energy. Some might say ThorzaiN's is a lucky boy. And he kept the Scroll of the Beast this entire game, by the way. So make MK and get Aviary.
Alright, who wants some?
And I think it's nice to bank on at least one healing scroll, maybe a second one. So get Staff of Sanctuary and buy Orb on MK when he's out.
Job's done.
And I know he has 69 supply. You don't need to make it. Actually, he made 2 more peasants on for the wood at the expo. I don't really know exactly when that was, but I'm gonna write it down. It must have been not long ago. Had 2 peasants. Had 2 peasants on wood at expo. These are some fat notes, guys.
Our forces are under attack. Job's done.
I'm just gonna come back. On the Mountain King, you go Stormbolt. I'm not gonna write that down. I expect you guys to remember it. I don't think Clap would make a ton of sense here, personally. It's more about target fire with the rifles. So here's the thing. When the MK attacks something, it applies the effect of the orb. And then you have rifles with 2-2, so they're not only very survivable, they also do a ton of damage attacking units. So even A-bombs at the front are gonna die very quickly here. Yeah, he was able to hit a Banish into Holy Light on one of those fiends, and now it's starting to hurt a lot. Goes for the Banish here, Stormbolt. That's another A-bomb caught. Some pretty costly mistake for sure from one. It's also ThorzaiN forcing those mistakes with like very good defense. If your Arcane Tower dies at the expo, remake it. And then now you stop mixing in rifles. He's going actually for 2 upgrade, holy moly. Start Griff production and get +3 armor. So this upgrade is also going to benefit Griffins. So they're going to have +3 armor plus devotion level 2. aka plus 3.5 armor. So in case killing them is going to be mission impossible. And you see, I think stacking up on like your army is very survivable. You got a healing scroll, you got holy lights. So your army is like very strong. It doesn't die easily, but your heroes could die, right? Against silence in particular. So having invulns like this is very important. He has 1 on the Pala, 1 on the bloodmage, and it's obviously it's gonna be fights of micro. It's a very micro intensive build, I'm sure. So now he waits, and I think when he gets maybe the second Griffin and about 80 supply, that's when he's gonna wanna attack. But now he gets attacked into. It's almost ideal, to be honest. He's almost at 80, he's on his side of the map, he's under a shop. Again, bloodmage at the front. And see, he pulls back. Okay, this is sick. He sent the bloodmage at the front to take all of the mana away from the Dark Ranger. I'm surprised he didn't even banish. And he pulled back the Pala not to get silence. And then he's gonna try to heal it from max range if that gets targeted. So from here, he's gonna wanna hit the Lolly Light. I mean, technically, maybe Dark Ranger could hit that silence, but if she does, then he will use Invuln here. So this is a key part of this build, I think. So he goes in. And the Blood Mage was the one that got silenced. Now he has to use Invuln because he already healed. Waits for the last second. Now you can heal it. And now he takes the mana from the Death Knight. MK gets targeted, he gets healed. MK gets targeted again. This time he pops Invuln. He had an Invuln on each hero actually, this is sick. And at this point, I would have thought that he'd target A-bombs. But he's actually going for Fiends just because his placement is like really good. And again, Mount tanking applies Orb of Fire, and then things are gonna die very quickly. And on this side, not much is dying. Like, one doesn't even know what to target. Like, everything has so much armor, right? So another A-bomb gets caught here. MK gets level 2, and you go clap with this. You don't go bash. I think bash probably could be valid as well, but I understand going for clap because you have so much mana anyway to work with. If you get like MK level 4, having clap feels much better. So if one of your heroes is in trouble and you don't have heal anytime soon, don't be greedy, don't try to heal last second. I think you can just staff. I don't know if Thorzai'n has lost a unit, guys. I think he might not have lost a single unit. I would say if your entire army is running low, let's say the opponent went for Creep Lord, you have everything low, remember to TP out. TP out on your expo and then use the regeneration scroll, and then you can re-engage. Usually you will have traded quite a bit before that. But yeah, not having a Lich 3 here is going to make it difficult for Undead. And look, yes, he's missing so much mana. Again, Bloodmage at the front, he bought the Invuln one more time. Takes mana again, pulls back the Pala. This is such an important part. If he doesn't do this once, maybe he loses the Bloodmage or he has to use Invuln. Now he didn't even need to. The mount tanking prevents infinite running away. If you don't have the mount tanking, you don't have any lockdown, you don't have Stonebolt. So then the opponent just comes in, snipes something, gets out. Now, you can actually Stonebolt even one single unit. It's holding it in place to actually die. So it's a big game changer, for sure, to have Stonebolt there. Finally got a rifle. Pala gets targeted as well. This wasn't the greatest movement, like Griffins went kinda ahead at the front, but I don't think it will matter too much. She even uses Banish to save a bunch of stuff. Lich out of mana, Death Knight out of mana, even though you're dependent. Yeah, one really didn't kill much this game, it feels like. Another great stuff. And now Pala is level 5, and when that happens you can feed him mana if he's out of mana. Yeah, the Pala self-healing is basically non-existent because you can't heal yourself, so if he runs low, just go home, use Regeneration Scroll, staff him in this case. Like, the mana is not gonna be a problem. Because the Bloodmage can help out with that. I was trying to get one more scroll, I guess, and he even got it while staffing, so that's great. And again, stack up on the scrolls and those invulns. You stay on 80 supply, I don't think you break 80. And in the meantime, he made +2 attack for Griffins. So I'm gonna add that. Wait. That's the third, fourth. Okay. I'm gonna try to reach 80 supply with 4 Griffins. Get +2 attack for them. And then +3 for rifles. This is very interesting, yeah. The +2 attack for Griffins makes a lot of sense. They're gonna kill A-bombs quicker. And then rifles 3-3, it just feels like it makes so much sense when you have this many and you can afford it. So now he had a bunch of gold. What did it start? Just a Griffin? Wait, what? Oh no, I don't know why this is not lighting up then. After that, if you have a bunch of gold, make one more rifle plus one more Griff. But that means that you're probably gonna have to push. You can't just make that and then sit at home. So I assume that he's gonna move out and attack when these come out.
Our gold mine is running low. Job's done. Locked and loaded. Research complete.
Again, super important. Bloodmage at the front, every time. Every time Bloodmage at the front, siphon one of the heroes. In this case, he even Stonebolted it. So he Stonebolted a hero, he's siphoning it, and Pala is trying to stay out of the silence. And even if he somehow gets silence and this hero is getting nuked, invuln. So again, it's very micro-intensive, but it's the way to play this build. Goes in for the clap. And then one very correctly is running away from this army because he doesn't want you to get on top of him exactly. Absorbs mana with destroyers. He's got 2 upgrades himself, but so now ideally I'm guessing you would want to put the rifles on the destroyers, but I think Thorzai'n doesn't even really care anymore. He's just targeting everything at once. Finally uses the Scroll of the Beast when there was no destroyers the whole game and he used it now, but I mean it doesn't matter. Yep. Death Knight gets surrounded and gets smelted. I guess this includes creeps, right? Units killed, because I don't feel like one killed a whole lot here, but yeah, that was very, very convincing. And yeah, I guess that's it for this build order. I will be trying it out myself. I will probably do it against computer one time to see how well I can do it, and then I'll try it on ladder next time I get against an Undead on a map where I think that this could be useful. I would say make sure that you have the notes on an additional monitor or print somewhere so that you can look at them the first few times you do the build, because I feel like once you've done it like 3 to 5 times, you will be able to remember pretty much everything in it. But everything's important. If you skip any of the details here, like if you don't get your tech early enough, in particular the bloodmage you need to get quickly. The spell order is very important. Obviously you go Holy Light, Devotion, Holy Light, Devotion, Holy Light. I'm guessing he gets the ultimate on level 6, but maybe sometimes you can get Aura. And then bloodmage is Siphon, Banish, Siphon, and I'm gonna guess Banish, Siphon, and then Phoenix. And Mountain King is Stormbolt, Clap, Stormbolt, Clap. Yeah, so it's like you always prioritize kind of like the obvious one. So yeah. So that's it for now. Let me know if you guys have any comments on this tutorial, and I'm sure I'll do a follow-up with one of my own games maybe or something like that.